This is Betsy Jensen, and you are listening to Unstoppable Body and Mind, episode 41, Future Fear. Hello, my friends. Just a reminder, if you are listening to the podcast and would like to watch it with video, then you can at Instagram or YouTube. Find me, Body and Mind Life Coach, and check it out there. Now, there's still time to enter for the drawing that I'm doing November 15th for a $100 Amazon gift card. I am accepting entries one of three ways: giving my podcast a rating on iTunes, a review on iTunes, or following me on Instagram. So just take a screenshot of your entries and email them to info@bodyandmindlifecoach.com. The information will be in the show notes. Okay, folks, today we're going to talk about future fear. I thought of this topic because I've been doing a lot of consults with people and starting to notice a trend. You probably know I work with people who want to heal their chronic pain and disease. And while each person's story is a little different and may have different symptoms, all of them had future fear, fear about what their future might look like. It could be because of their pain, their disease, worrying about their body breaking down. There's a lot of unknowns. And often people are told really scary things when they have chronic pain or disease. I've worked with so many people who've been told that they will have pain their whole life. Do you remember the placebo effect and the nocebo effect from a few episodes back? There's a lot of power in our thoughts, and there's a lot of power with the suggestions that we're given. Fear and helplessness are byproducts of our current medical system. We become more and more disconnected from our own bodies and go to authorities for help. We keep treating our symptoms like whack-a-mole for each new one that comes up. My mom's been having some knee pain, and I asked her how her knee was once. She said, I don't know. I have to go to the doctor on Friday. And I thought, why do you have to wait until you talk to your doctor to know how your knee is? Sometimes people are told that nothing is wrong with them, and all of their tests come back negative. And that can create a lot of future fear too, because of all of the unknown. I think it's pretty easy to understand why we have future fear. In fact, it's not just people with chronic pain or disease that have future fear, of course, but it can be amplified with all of those unknowns. But there's another type of future fear that I noticed with these consults that I wanted to talk about today. And that's the fear of evolving into your future self. I want to check in with you right now. What comes up for you when I talk about fear of your future self, evolving yourself, or going after your dreams? Is there something in your life that you have dreamed of doing, or maybe you feel called to do? Maybe you've even already studied it or have certifications in it, but taking the next step to put yourself out there feels like too much. It might feel vulnerable or scary. So you find yourself going to more and more trainings, thinking you need to learn a little more before you'll be ready. Learning and training is great, don't get me wrong, but are your results the ones you want? The action of learning could be coming from a place of love for knowledge or from a place of fear of being inadequate. The same action of learning, but from a different energy or emotion behind it, will create a different result. You might have fear of failing when you think of what it might take to achieve your goals. You might have fear of being judged. Like if you're a wife or a mom, then maybe you shouldn't be spending time on yourself. You shouldn't have dreams of your own. Or who do you think you are? That imposter syndrome. That one comes up for me a lot. And I'm sure for other people too. In fact, I know for other people too. Brene Brown talks about it. Maybe you feel like there's something bigger for you out there, but you just don't know what it is yet. Maybe you don't even know there's something bigger, but you just know you don't want things to stay the way they are. Something's got to change. And that can be scary too. There are so many unknowns for our brain, it can be staggering. But it's interesting to remember with future fear that we can be fearing something in the future that hasn't even happened yet, but feel the discomfort and the terror right now in our bodies. We make our present moment miserable, absolutely unbearable sometimes, and we can stress ourselves out and make ourselves sick just thinking about the possibility of what might or might not happen in the future. We feel all of this right now, every time we think of it. Our brains are kind of like an ultimate virtual reality. When we have thoughts like memories, we produce the same neurochemicals in our bodies thinking about it as we did when the memory actually happened. So our brains have a hard time distinguishing between reality and what's going on in our thoughts. Have you ever had a dream so real? So we can literally freak ourselves out about the future so much that we're fearing something and feeling the fear now for something that hasn't even happened or may not happen. What if you realize that you're already feeling fear? Like today, when you think about the future. So it's not like you're avoiding negative emotions by staying small, staying in the cave, not showing up, not putting yourself out there. You still have those negative emotions in the cave. In fact, I think that life is basically 50-50. So there's kind of a contrast. There's an overall balance of the universe of positive and negative. So even in the cave, it's 50-50 because you are feeling more pleasure and safety, but there's part of you that wants more, that dreams of making a contribution to the world. Maybe you feel like you have a talent or a gift or an idea that will help people in the world. Brooke Castillo says, if you're living a life that's not your highest desire, it's actually painful. Now, if you have a lot of pain or disease that you're struggling with right now and functioning is difficult, this may seem overwhelming to think about what you might want to do in the future and your goals. But one of the main concepts, in addition to reacting to your pain with neutrality, without escalating the fight or flight response to try to be bored with your pain or to try not to amplify it or pain catastrophize, one of the other principles is to focus on things that are positive. So, ways that you can focus on living. So, if you think of your brain and the neurons that you're using, if you're focusing on your pain and your discomfort a lot, then you're strengthening those neural networks. You're recruiting more and more neurons. More of your brain is devoted to looking for and producing pain. So, one of the best ways that you can halt this process and start rewiring your brain is to be focusing on something completely different, something positive that you're putting your energy into. If you feel like maybe there is something more out there for you, but don't know what it is, I want you to think about times when you're in the flow. When does time pass quickly? You feel energized and passionate about what you're doing. In The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, he talks about your zone of excellence and your zone of genius. So for me, my zone of excellence is physical therapy, and I love it. I've done it for 20 years, getting quite good at it. But it doesn't light me up and energize me like coaching and talking about the body and mind. That I feel like is my zone of genius because I am passionate about it. I love it. I could talk about it all day. Time flies when I'm talking about it. I feel energized when I talk to people about it. If you don't know what your zone of genius is, I really recommend you read that book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. I'm keeping it short today, guys, so you'll have some extra time when you turn this off to really think about yourself if you have future fear. Think about how the fear is affecting you in the present moment. If you want to take it to the next level, then write about it, journal, pen vent, write everything down in your brain about the future and fear. And then if you really want to take it to the next level, like cosmic level, then talk to me about my 6-month intensive one-on-one coaching program. I only have 3 spots left, so sign up for a consult as soon as you can if you're interested in learning more about that. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.